The Lubavitcher rebbe, in a letter to someone, said, when it comes to artificial means, like external treatment, in the two schools of medical thought, versus natural recovery, seeking to bring about an improvement in health via internal strengthening of the natural powers of the organism itself. So basically, artificial means, like medical treatment, or natural recovery. The Rebbe says, one of the greatest adherents of the naturalistic school was Rambam. And in hilchos deos, chapter 4, man's duty, he says in halacha, is to avoid what is injurious to the body and cultivate habits and that are conducive to health and vigor. Halacha 20. Whoever trains himself in these ways I pointed out, I assure him he'll encounter no sickness in all his days. Halacha 21. All these practices that we've stated are only appropriate for a healthy person. So the Rambam's goal is to lead a healthy person to live healthily, halacha 21, but for a sick person or someone who has a sick limb or has engaged in a bad practice for many years, there are other ways and practices for each one according to the sickness, as are elucidated in the Book of Medicine. The argument that there should be no interference with the course of nature and the divine order, and to permit the organism itself to recover without outside interference, etc., etc., would be valid if we were dealing with a perfect organism in its perfect natural state. Unfortunately, such a thing hardly exists, for there's no perfection in this physical world, largely due to the fact that extraneous factors come into play, such as accidents, war, and the like, or an unnatural way of life, such as overindulgence in food and material pleasures. In a case of an organism thus affected, it can't be used to correct that which has been caused by extraneous forces, and that nature itself will do the job. Moreover, the maladies of present day are often the result of the cumulative effect, not only of the individual himself, but of generations that sinned against the divine order. And the best method is a combination of both in the proper ratio, which depends in each case on its own merit. The Lubavitcher Rebbe on marriage says that marriage is not about transforming or educating your partner. It's unrealistic to enter a marriage with that intention. When a person feels compelled to change because of another person day in and day out, this creates resentment. Marital arguments can at times become very heated. During such times, it becomes difficult to dispel the intensity. In order to have a leveled conversation, in such cases, you should consult with a discreet and objective third party. This person can be a mutual friend, professional, or rabbi with experience in this field. There are two sides to every coin. In the context of marriage, one needs to realize that first, everyone has a soulmate. The flip side is that everyone must exert significant effort in finding his or her soulmate. This means that although you're destined to marry a specific person, your actions toward actualizing this are critical. The Talmudic sages state, it is the duty of man to seek out a woman. Leave your home and comfort zone and search for your soulmate. This is what the Rebbe is saying. Leave your home and comfort zone to search for your soulmate with the same intensity you would search for an important lost object. How do we differentiate true feelings of love from fleeting and visceral emotions that will pass with time? There are two ways to discern this. First, the couple could continue dating in order to allow feelings of love to develop. Second, the couple could completely separate for at least a week or more. If they miss or long for each other and want to meet again, it's a sign that stirrings of love have begun to develop. The decision to marry someone cannot come from depression or tears. This decision must be made with all your capacities and full peace of mind. Additionally, be mindful of the fact that you are not the only person to have experienced the cycle of doubt. To a young woman, the Rebbe said, don't hypothesize what's going through the mind of the man you're dating. Furthermore, don't be overly concerned with what you may think he may be contemplating. If there's no direct rejection and you still have a good communication, continue to acquaint yourselves. And finally, the Rebbe says, don't take rejection to heart. If it was destined to be a match, it would have materialized. Since it didn't, it's clear it wasn't meant to be. And from a letter of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, one of the most fundamental doctrines of chabad, which the Alter Rebbe expounds in, among other sources, the shaar, hayichud, vehoemunah section of his basic opus, the Tanya, is that in everything, even in an inanimate material object, there is a soul, or a vital spiritual core. To quote from the first chapter of the above mentioned section, even with that in which appears to be utterly inanimate matters, such as stones or earth or water, there's a soul and a spiritual life force. And I think that we're going to stop here with that because of the time. All right. I want to wish you all the best. It's Arizal's yard site, and It may be that all of us get rid of that inner toxic shame of the snake and heal the wounds and self-permission, self-acceptance with joy and peace and love, in a flow, balance, feminine, masculine, with a vessel for one love, in respect and dignity, without being attached to what's not ours, and comfort for all the things that we have to let go of, and just not gripping, not holding on too tight, except to God, except to the oneness, except to the inner true beingness, the source of life, the livelihood. And to use our talents and our gifts to reveal the light and to be curious when immersing in darkness. May we be blessed with meaning and interest and pleasure and positive experiences with loved ones, where lover is beloved and beloved is lover, and everything feels worth it, including ourselves and everything we waited for. And we'll be united with our true soulmate, each one individually, in the most easiest possible way.